What's up, y'all? It's Carla, aka Seela the Poet. I'm having an insomniac night and I'm in my thoughts. There's a lot of narratives out there, there's a lot of rhetoric out there, and there's a lot of ideas out there. What a lot of people don't realize is that there's a lot of things that people don't analyze, that there are half truths. There's so many half truths out there, meaning that different people can look at a statement or a point of view subjectively and they can see some truth in it, but it may only be a half truth because once you go deeper and you look up and research the subject, you could see that it's not just basically a one track thing. Um, I've been thinking about the war of the sexes lately, between men and women. There's the Manosphere, there's MGTOW, there's feminism, there's all these different schools of thought. I'm a feminist, I'm a black feminist, and I'm proud to be. But I am also not against men's rights either. There are different types of feminists out there, and I think, that people should have fair rights, whatever rights that are out there for human beings to enjoy and have. I think that all human beings should be treated fairly. Um, there are sometimes differences, I think, between the sexes and between human beings that cause them to be treated differently in society. Misogyny is a problem, patriarchy is a problem, but there's also hate that's a problem. There's discrimination that's a problem. There's racism that's a problem. So there are a lot of different factors that go into different things. But like I said, I'm just in my thoughts tonight, just thinking about a conversation I had with someone that will not say their name. Um, so there's a lot of different talking points sometimes on the Manosphere channel. And the main thing that you hear often repeated is how women go after the 10% or the top 10% or the top 20%. And what ends up happening is that if people buy into that narrative, there's this mindset where I think a whole bunch of the manosphere think that you basically the women are basically going after only a certain subsection of men, which isn't true. There's a lot of women that go after men for different things, and I'm not going to say that every woman chases after someone who's rich or somebody who's an athlete or somebody who's, you know, what I guess society would consider successful. Some women do. Some women are gold diggers and some women are opportunists. So people like that, they're going to, go after what motivates them, which is money. But there are other women who would like to be with a man with financial means because if they decide to have a family with a lot of children, they would like a man that's going to be able to help take care of those children. I don't think that there's anything wrong with somebody choosing someone, that has financial means. But what I do have a problem with is just choosing someone that's just going to take care of when you're an able bodied person and you have the ability to work and you don't want to work. You just want someone to just take care of when you could be working and you can also be earning and contributing to the household. So there's different ways to look at, something like this. Um, I hear them also talk about how women are the main ones that divorce at 69%. But the problem is they don't talk about what leads to that divorce. And a lot of different times, there's a lot of different reasons people divorce, but I think that there's not enough attention paid to, um, the male dynamic in the breakdown of relationships. You know, in our country, America, there's a high infidelity rate. People are not faithful, people are not committed. And that statistically tends to be higher in the men. That men don't, they tend to be more unfaithful, more likely to cheat or have an extramarital partner. And so something like that destroys the sanctity and trust in a relationship. And I think that because of misogyny and patriarchy, women are expected to kind of accept that, that it's the male nature per se, and that, they should be either allowed to cheat. Women should accept the fact that they don't want to be monogamous or whatever. And no, some women will not accept that or put up with that. And so, of course, it's going to lead to divorce. People are not going to talk about the high spousal abandonment rate, the high spousal desertion rate, when there's a male spouse that does that to his wife and kids. When they leave unprovoked, without provocation, without justification, they leave their wife and children and just decide that they want to have their own life. And the women and the children are kind of left there. And so something like that will force a divorce. You can't be married or have a relationship with someone who's not there, you know? So there's just different things that lead to it. What about sexual addiction? What about drug addiction? What about alcoholism? Who is the gender that has high rates in these different things statistically? You know, I don't think enough attention is given to, you know, the misbehavior. And if we're going to really talk about and complain about women divorcing, we also have to talk about why. And I think that people often don't want to go into the why because there's just this idea of male privilege, like, whatever they do, oh, well, there has to be a justification or a reason for it. Or the scapegoat, is the woman. They turn it on the woman like, oh, yeah, she did this and she did that. But no, but look at how you're acting. How much should a woman put up with in a relationship? If she's not being respected, if she, if she's not being respected, if there's abuse in the marriage, if there's infidelity in the marriage, which all puts, your health at risk and things of that nature, what are you supposed to do? You have to look at the behaviors that cause the breakdowns of relationships. And I don't think they talk, and they're not honest enough about that. I'm not saying that women aren't perfect or women are perfect. I'm not saying that there aren't things that women do that lead to the breakdown of a relationship, of course. But if you're going to be objective and you're going to make a statement, you have to look at all the factors involved in what causes, a breakdown. And so that's going to be, you know, likely fall somewhere in the middle between the two people involved. But sometimes it actually is more one person's fault than the other. And, that tends to kind of get ugly because people get defensive and some people don't want to be accountable and they don't want to take responsibility. But either way, um, also just thinking about the differences, in society. Women, they tend to be more, subordinate in society because of the patriarchy. Um, you have the men that are in high ranking positions in society, in government, sitting on the Supreme Court, all these different things. And even though there are women there, the men tend to still have more power and they are the ones who make the laws and things like that. I hear the Manosphere complaining about the court system and how they don't get a fair share in the court system and they don't get a fair share in their divorces. But who is the who are the people that are leading the court system and sitting in the court system? It's members of your gender. It's men. Men are the ones that are the judges. Men are the ones that are judging you unfairly and harshly. And so that also, talks about, once again, male misbehavior, or just kind of like narcissism, or men that don't treat each other right. It's like, or treat each other fairly. These type of things need to be called out for what it is. If you're going to complain about divorces and you're going to complain about that, then you have to look at the court system. You have to look at who sits there, which is men. There are lady judges, but there are more male judges, more male lawyers. And when it comes to the no fault divorce law, a man, okay, signed that into law, Ronald Reagan. It wasn't a woman that did it. So these are things that we have to look at. We have to be honest about patriarchy, misogyny. We have to be honest about inequality. Once we're honest about these things, then we can have an objective conversation, and then we can actually come up with solutions. But we have to be willing to address our own part in the issues that help break down society. And a lot of times, I think women are often scapegoats. You know, they try to scapegoat women, they try to blame women, point a finger of blame at women, but we aren't the ones in power. Okay? Yeah, even if we have Kamala Harris as the vice president, there still hasn't been a woman president in the United States. Okay? And most women aren't the ones sitting there in the electoral college. Okay? To be fair, it's a lot of white male senators that, or white male politicians that sit there. So we have to be honest with ourselves. And I don't think that people are honest enough. But anyway, like I said, I just have all these thoughts in my mind. And, you know, when you're out there and you're supporting a point of view or philosophy, you have to go deep. You have to do your own research. You have to analyze, and you have to look at truths, even uncomfortable and hard truths that challenge your own point of view and your own way of thinking. You know, these are things that we have to do if we're going to have a balanced life, if we're going to be open to, um, change, social change. You know, I would rather be someone who uplifts and helps the world be a better place than to be someone who sits there and just wants to watch it burn or just wants society to crash. That's not going to help anybody. You know, Martin Luther King said it best. We either have to learn to live together or perish as fools. Live together as brothers or perish as fools. And, you know, when there's no unity, then there's nothing but destruction. And I think that men and women overall need to find a way to have unity between each other. You know, I mean, one day, the people from the Manosphere, feminists, whoever, y'all need to sit down and try to hash it out. Because, you know, we have a society where we both have to live in. And if we could find a common ground, then that would make for a better world. So anyway, I hope that everybody is keeping the faith. I hope that everybody is remaining safe. We are, blessed that the pandemic has kind of like died down the numbers of COVID cases, but we still have to be careful. We still have to be diligent. Um, so I hope that everybody has a blessed, day of the week, the rest of the days of the week, and peace. There'll be more content shortly. All right. So you can either like or make commentary or dislike. If you feel what I'm saying, you can subscribe to my channel. Take care. Peace.